All right, we are live. Hello and welcome. We are the Game Reactionists, and welcome to episode 4 of the Reacticast. I am Rorschach.
And I'm Spectre. Hopefully, you didn't get that last thing I said there. I was just kind of making fun of you there. So
No, you're good.
you're good on the trigger finger for this, so that's good.
Yeah. We're just gonna do a quick couple of news headlines today for tonight's episode. Nothing too earth-shattering, but still some stuff to talk about. We'll start off pretty light and easy. Spider-Man 2 is quickly approaching for PlayStation 5 on release. I know it's not something that's really on your radar. It is on my radar. I was a big fan of the first game. Looking forward to the next game.
Is it September or October?
The game itself launches in October. However,
Okay.
tomorrow is when the special edition console as well as the controller and faceplates become available. So you can be able to purchase this stuff about a month and a half in advance, and obviously preload Spider-Man whenever it's ready to be done so, and have it good to go. So I got it right here front and center. A little bit of a downside. The, the faceplate covers are not looking to be readily available to the general public. Pre-orders on those sold out pretty quickly. Even
Did you get yours?
My own personal pre-order is on back order with the retailer. So I don't know what that means. It's not a cancellation, but it's
Who did you order through?
I ordered it through Target.
That's your first problem.
I mean, I've ordered stuff with them in the past and haven't had issues. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll go out in the wild tomorrow and see it, stocked on a shelf, or maybe Sony will replenish stock tomorrow. I mean, they do weird stuff, especially on the PlayStation Direct. So we'll see. I'm trying to avoid paying the eBay prices because at that point,
I'm sure they're insane already. It's probably I don't want to know what it is.
They're going for $200, and they're selling
for some plastic that you slap on the console. That's kind of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of surprised. I don't know. I mean, I've known you for a fair amount of time. You didn't really strike me ever as like a Spider-Man fan.
I was a big fan of the Spider-Man comics, a huge fan of the '90s television show.
Everyone loved the '90s show. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not even a fan of Spider-Man, and I like the '90s show.
Well, and I'm going to be clear. I'm a fan of Spider-Man as Peter Parker, because Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Hot take, I know. You guys can come at me in the comments. I don't really care, but that's the way it is.
I was gonna say, is it everybody's Spider-Man now? Like, is that like the thing? And now, like,
Pretty much.
There's like a woman Spider-Man
with all with all the multiverse stuff and whatnot. Yeah.
So if everyone's Spider-Man, then nobody's Spider-Man. That's what I think.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my opinion on the subject there. But yeah, no. Well, I hope you do get your.
I hope so too. If not, it's not the end of the world. I'll have the controller at least. I mean, the controller's pretty cool looking too. If I don't get my plates, it is what it is. It's not anything.
Take a look at it here right away too, to refresh my memory.
Yeah. I thought I could share my screen with you here.
So that's right. Yeah, you're sharing your screen, right? Yeah, I can't even see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. I thought I did that. I'm sorry.
Discord makes you do that every time. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so Spider-Man accessories and console comes out tomorrow. Console still seems to be pretty readily available. So you grab the console and you're good to go. And actually, in our area, it's starting to get dark out. So I'm going to turn on some light real quick.
There you go.
But yes.
I mean, for a, if I was a Spider-Man fan, I'd be all over. I mean, it does look pretty nice.
Yeah. So that's it for the Spider-Man news. More on the game to come in the future. I am looking forward to the big collector's edition, but that isn't coming till October. So yeah, weird way.
I'm sure we'll have an unboxing for that too. So
for sure, 100%. For you Destiny 2 fans out there, Crota's End raid goes live tomorrow. I liked this raid in Destiny 2, but I haven't played Destiny 2 in quite some time. I'm quite over it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to it one day. I don't know. But the requirements for...
But not today.
Not today.
obviously.
Crota's raid power level requirements. Your character shouldn't be lower than 1800. And if you're doing it on legend difficulty, then it's going to be 1820. And I know always the first weekend of any new raid release, it's always contest mode. So the enemies and mechanics are a little bit tougher than the normal raids outside of that first weekend. So that's the Crota's End raid. All right. So that was our news with Destiny 2 Crota's End raid. So you Destiny 2 players, get yourselves raid ready. It's a good time. Crota's End was a blast in D1. So hopefully you guys have fun with it. Next up, Starfield. It's live now in some areas. The time is upon us.
Yeah,
So,
it just right before we started here, it was kicking on for me. So I mean, yeah, I know the you know, I don't want to get too deep into it until I've actually had a chance to play it. I know the Metacritic has been kind of fluctuating a little bit, but it seems to be settling around. Let's see where to go. I think it was 87 last time I looked at it. Let's see. Yeah, it's still at 87. I know there's a 10 out of 10 from Destructoid that's got to go on there still. I don't think that's on there yet, so that's going to bump up the score.
come on, 10 out of 10.
Hey, I didn't do the review.
I know. Well,
But-
I mean, it's scoring pretty well. I suspected it would. I mean, it sounds like they really had a lot riding on this, especially given their abysmal launch of Redfall earlier this year. I mean, they really need to hit it out of the park with this one. I'm going to check it out on Game Pass. Maybe I'll do some streaming of it and checking it out and give my first impressions on it. I've never really been crazy about Bethesda games. The last Elder Scrolls game I truly cared about was Daggerfall, and that was, gosh, 25 years ago now.
That's ancient now. Yeah, it looks like it is 88 for the PC version. So the 88 that's for the it is a little bit higher, and it probably will get a little bit higher than that. So it might bump up to 89. We'll see. But yeah, no, I'm I can't say it was like the game I was like really dying to play. That was Armored Core, and Armored Core I'll get to that in a little bit here. But this was one where I was kind of on the fence about it. I was like, I'm not sure. I'm just the opposite of you. I love a lot of Bethesda games. I mean, they definitely have their share of stinkers, like Redfall and the most recent Wolfenstein games have been pretty terrible. But I mean, you have the Fallout series and Elder Scrolls series have been reliably good. I even like the quote unquote bad games. I liked Fallout 4. I know a lot of people didn't care for Fallout 4. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a perfect experience for me. And I even like parts of 76. I don't think 76 is as bad as people give it, its reputation is. But for this one, my fear, I'll say this, I'll wrap up my thought for this. My fear for Starfield is that I'll play it and I'll see a lot of the same mechanics and a lot of the same gameplay elements that I'm familiar with from Fallout and from Elder Scrolls, and it'll just come off as soulless. There just won't be that same level of lore that brings me into those games. Like Fallout has a history, it has a world built up around it. I'm no matter where the next Fallout game is set or what it's about, I'm going to be curious about it because it's the Fallout universe. Same with Elder Scrolls. I'm invested into that world. I've been drawn into that world. So Starfield is a whole brand new thing, and it has a very difficult task of bringing the audience in and immersing us in a whole new IP, a whole new world. So that is a difficult thing to do. I don't know if it's going to accomplish that. We'll see. But I'm sure it's going to be a solid game no matter what, in terms of this is Bethesda and they spent a lot of time and energy and money on it. I'm sure it's going to be a fairly solid game. But probably some bugs. I think it's safe to say probably a fair share of bugs as well. But I hope it's more than just a diet version of Fallout or Elder Scrolls. I hope there actually is something here for us to grab onto and something to care about in this world that they're building. And I mean, regardless of my thoughts, I do give them some credit. Before I dive into the game tomorrow, I do give them some credit for actually trying something new. It's not just yet another Fallout game. It's not yet another Elder Scrolls game. Even though it seems to draw a lot from those games, from my understanding, it is at least something new. You know, and that should always be applauded. You know, no matter what your opinion of it is, at least it's something you know, that we're trying that's different.
Yeah. So there you go. There's Starfield, and along the lines of Bethesda, now that Starfield is out, Elder Scrolls 6 is officially in early development. So if you remember that teaser we all saw 5 years ago, well, now they're actually developing the game. So there we go. There's an update on Elder
I feel like they
Scrolls
put out
6.
that teaser was just there to be like, okay, shut up, you know, like here
It was there for the shareholders, and that's all it was. It was there for the shareholders to not fret about it. And with regards to Bethesda games, I have always liked the Elder Scrolls games more than the Fallout games. You know, I loved Daggerfall. Of course, Morrowind was fantastic. Oblivion was fantastic. Skyrim was pretty good, although it's really when Skyrim became more of just like a atypical action adventure game, you know, whereas the previous entries had a little bit more of that true RPG feel to it. But Elder Scrolls 6, I'll probably sink my teeth into that. I'm glad it's years away because my library is backed up.
Yeah, we got a lot to play, and yeah, I'm a big Elder Scrolls fan. I'll be all over 6 when that comes out, and you know, probably 2 or 3 years from now, who knows how long it'll be. But hopefully we see some return to form. I do like the idea of actually playing a class, and we got away from that in Skyrim.
Yeah,
you know, in favor of just being a all powerful god that can do everything.
Correct.
Which is what the Dragonborn really is. But I like the idea of actually playing a role and having strengths and weaknesses. And, you know, I'm not saying Skyrim was bad. I enjoyed Skyrim quite a bit.
No, it wasn't bad. It was a
I played
solid
through it
game
to completion twice and did mods with it and stuff. But it is. I still want to play through it again. I plan to go for Skyrim again before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. But it is. You know, I like to see kind of a return of that role playing element you were saying.
There you have it. All right, moving along here. Armored Core 6. Looks like as of, well, this is as of the 25th. So I thought this is a bit more of a recent article, but I guess not. But either way, as of the 25th of Armored Core 6 releasing, had 129,000 concurrent players on Steam. This is a big release for From Software. Obviously, they are well known for the Bloodborne and Dark Souls games. Elden Ring was their big Game of the Year hit from last year. This one came out of nowhere. I know you are very excited about it, so I'll let you talk a little bit about it starting now.
Yeah, so I'll update that article too. The all-time peak, at least according to Steam database, is 156,000. So that's the new all-time peak.
Okay.
Which indicates pretty good. That's a now to understand that's concurrent players. That means that's people on at the same time logged in playing the game. So that does not translate to sales.
Correct.
Sales is going to be significantly higher than that because of course everyone that bought the game is not going to be playing it simultaneously at the same time. So we could expect the sales to be probably somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 4 to 5 times that. So you know, it is a very successful launch. It's not probably obviously on the scale of like some mega launches that we're familiar with. I'll go back to Elden Ring just as their previous game that had a concurrent player base. Let's see of nearly 1 million playing it at once. It was 953,000. So
just on Steam.
Just on Steam.
Holy cow!
So it's probably sold somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 5 million or more on Steam alone. I don't know if they've released official numbers for that one, but
it says here in this article that I'm looking at for Elden Ring as of March of this year, it sold 20.5 million units. So yeah, pretty solid.
A lot
numbers.
Of that's,
and I think from what I've heard,
I know PC was a predominant platform for that.
And I believe from what I've heard so far, Armored Core 6 is doing really well in the sales. I want to say that within the first weekend, they had already sold like maybe around 6 million units or something like that.
That would be really high, but if that is the case, then I'd be very, very happy. I think that easily puts it in the top of the series by far. And of course, it's reviewing really well, but I think it's more a case of Armored Core came out, originally way, way back, over 25 years ago at this point. and it was actually, it was about 25 years ago, and review scores were very different back then. So there's been a lot of review inflation, you know, and like an 87 today means something different than an 87 back in like 2002 or something. So you know, it's but yeah, no, it's been extremely successful from what we've seen. It's the highest reviewed game so far in the series by far out of a bunch of games. I'm about 6 hours into the game right now, so I mean, there's still a lot for me to do. It's at least
Yeah, so give us your Spark Notes review right now.
Yeah. So it's I mean, it's at least a 30
Spark
hour
Notes.
plus
Remember,
game.
Spark Notes.
Yes, I know. I'll be quick. I'll be very quick. Yeah, it's a 30-hour plus game, so I'm only 6 hours in. So take of that what you will. Been past the first like 3 or 4 bosses so far, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I am an Armor Core fan, as you were saying before. So I played most of the other games in the series. I think it is definitely more of an Armored Core game than it is like, let's say, like a Souls game. I think there was some fear that it was going to be just basically a Souls with mechs, or you know, or Mech Hero. I think somebody said it was like some kind of pun somebody made about it. It does have some features of the Souls games, but it is very much still an Armored Core game in my opinion. I would say in terms of weaknesses so far, the only thing that's really a disappointment to me, I'm enjoying a lot of the game. I mean, it's a very solid game. I really enjoy it so far. Biggest weakness, actually, surprisingly, is the soundtrack. It is very forgettable, which is very strange for Armored Core games. Armored Core soundtracks should be fantastic, and it is a very forgettable soundtrack, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 songs. One of those being the first major chapter boss's theme, which is Baltius. So look that up on YouTube. Everybody check that out on YouTube. I love that theme. It's a great song. Fits the fight perfectly. It's very energetic. It's a very fast-paced, energetic fight. So that song is great. The rest of the soundtrack, it really is very forgettable. It's not something you're going to be listening to, sadly, which is unfortunate, because Armored Core is really known for its very great immersive soundtrack. Not on the level of like a Silent Hill is known for its soundtrack, but still, it's up there. But yeah, I'll give more thoughts as I actually get towards completing. I haven't even completed my first playthrough, so it's hard for me to give like a comprehensive review. Really enjoying it so far. And I mean, there's a lot of creativity out there as well too. People are making their own custom decals and stuff like that. That's a big fun kind of little mini game in there as well too. It's kind of customizing the look of your mech, not just what your mech is composed of. So it's a great game. I would say, if you're at all curious about it, check it out. Do a check it out on Steam and do there's a refund. You get 2 hours to check it out. That should be enough time to get you through a good chunk of chapter 1. That should be enough to see if you're into the game or not. So that's what I would recommend for people, is check it out that way, and kind of risk free, really. But yeah, I'll have more thoughts on it. We'll probably do some sort of review, I think, on it once I've actually completed it. I plan to stream it a little too.
All right, cool, very cool. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad it's doing well. I've never played the Armored Core franchise, but in knowing me personally, I'm a big From Software guy. I'm actually playing.
You're in the Souls camp, though. You're more of the Souls.
I am and that's more of the aesthetic I like. I'm not into sci-fi so much. I'm always more into the like medieval style when it comes to my gaming, and I really just I like the Soulsborne games. They're more for me. Lies of P comes out in September, so I'm kind of getting myself in the mentality.
You get your fix, right? Yeah.
So I'm playing Demon Souls. I bought Demon Souls with my PlayStation 5 back in 2020. And I beat the first boss, and then I just put it down for other stuff, and now I'm getting through it again. I think I just beat my third or fourth boss, kind of hiding through one of the dungeons to get myself an archdemon to clear up some fog. But I'm having a great time with that. But yeah, I'm trying to get my my reflexes down properly so I can be prepared for Lies of P. Because I am looking forward to that one. You
got Lies of P, and you got Lords of the Fallen as well too coming up.
Lords of the Fallen, I may pass on. I was thinking about it. I might pass on that one. There's just, with all the stuff coming out this year, man. It's just.
I suppose if you had to pick one, Lies of P does look more intriguing.
It looks more intriguing. It's got a more intriguing storyline. Nothing against Lords of the Fallen. I tried playing the original. Its clunkiness wasn't for me. It was kind of like playing Dark Souls 2, which is notorious for being like very buggy and clunky, which I'm not looking forward to finishing that. But Anyway, very cool. I'm glad Armored Core 6 is doing well. I know we need all the money we can get so we can get that Elden Ring DLC out quicker and Bloodborne 2 out on the shelves. So
I think it's the other way around.
We appreciate your
FromSoft,
contribution.
FromSoft loves their mechs, so they're using the Elden Ring, money from the general populace, to finance their art project.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get. And the other thing about the Armored Core games is they're really big on incremental upgrades for kind of like it's almost expansion packs really. So. This is the new core game, and then hopefully we see a sequel or two to this that has that expands upon it, builds has more parts for us, has more features. That's how
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. You're guaranteed DLC, so at the very least you'll get that. Because I think with every major release, Elden Ring's got DLC in development right now. Dark Souls 3 had DLC. Dark Souls 2 had DLC. Bloodborne had DLC. I don't remember if Dark Souls 1 had DLC. But either way, I guarantee you with how well it's selling, you'll get DLC. So you'll get some way to expand your game. But moving right along, Nintendo had a Direct today, and I was a little disappointed. Because it was just a 15...
It was just Mario Wonder, right? I mean...
It was a 15-minute Direct on Super Mario Wonder. The game looks fantastic. I don't get me wrong. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of Mario games. It's not my most beloved Nintendo franchise. Obviously, anybody who watches the channel or anybody who knows me personally, Zelda has always been my most beloved franchise. But I do, of course, enjoy Mario, who built the house of Nintendo, really. And they did give out more information. It takes place in the Flower Kingdom this time, so not the Mushroom Kingdom. Now we're in the Flower Kingdom. So,
gotcha.
You're gonna have 8 playable characters, which you're gonna have your core Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and then Toads and Toadette, as well as Yoshi variations. And what's disappointing is Yoshi and I believe the Toads are like easy mode, where you don't, or no, not you, the Toads. Yoshi and Nabbit, who's like this bandit-looking creature. He was introduced in Super Mario Wii, I believe, or maybe Wii U.
Okay.
But they're basically easy mode of the game, so you don't take any damage, but you can still die and lose a life if you fall off a cliff or something. But I was just kind of like, Yoshi's one of my favorite characters, but I don't want to play on super easy mode. So, whatever. I'll have my oldest.
Yeah, it should be like an option for you to, just select that mode, I guess. But I guess in a way, though, like, I mean, that way you can play a multiplayer as well, too, and people can be on sort of different difficulties at the same time, right? So.
Yeah, and it is going to feature local co-op. And if somebody is playing as Yoshi, another player can jump on Yoshi's back and you can ride around with him. You have a pretty entertaining picture here cool. of Elephant Mario riding around on Yoshi.
Begrudgingly on Yoshi, yeah. He looks like he's straining there in that little picture.
Yeah. Got some new power-ups, too. So, obviously the power-ups have been a focus of Mario games since their inception, really. You have the elephant form, and it looked like you were just kind of like a beastie, larger character. It says here you can destroy blocks with raw power, store water in your trunks, and then spray it out. So they have these little flower things that you can water, and then they give you more coins or more wonder beads when they give you hints of like special areas. It looked like a pretty cool mechanic. Then they had the bubble and the drill power-ups. So the bubble, it's just you spraying bubbles at enemies. You can trap them in it and take them out with that. And then the drill power-ups, that looked pretty neat because you could drill down into the ground or up into the ceiling and move around that way and find secret areas that way. So they got some pretty unique power-ups here, some kind of new innovative ways to refresh the 2D platform experience. Because, I mean, you can really only do so much with a 2D platformer. So it's good to see Nintendo really trying to like find something to make it feel fresh for you. And then, of course, the Wonder Flower. That's where, if you've seen the trailer, you see the world kind of become all kinds of crazy, and tubes coming to life, or warp pipes, rather, coming to life and moving around. So it looked pretty entertaining. And here we go. 4-player local. Yep, that's confirmed. Online connectivity was revealed, including what is essentially ghost mode data that comes with some extra gameplay benefits. Traditional online multiplayer was not revealed during the direct. In looking at the online mode, it was kind of like, speaking of the Souls games, it's kind of like you have these ghost apparitions of other players, and they're moving around, and then they can drop like helpful items for you or save you from certain situations, but it's not quite like a full online mode experience. It seemed weird. I don't know how to really explain it.
Okay.
Maybe they'll come out with more information on it, but it wasn't like a true online mode. And then they did show where you could like create your own party to invite your friends, and then you could play online with your friends that way. So I don't know. That's the best interpretation I have of the online mode. If anybody can provide clarification, let us know in the comments below. But this does come out. Oh, great. They don't have. Thanks, IGN. You got the game here. No information on when it's coming out. I believe this comes out in October, though. I want to say it's October 20th. It is
October 20th. Yeah,
it's October 20th because it's the same day as Spider-Man 2. But probably the most disappointing aspect of this, they did announce a new Nintendo Switch, and normally I like to avoid Kotaku, but they really nailed the headline on the head here. Super Mario Brothers Wonder
very
gets its
plain.
very own, very plain Nintendo Switch OLED.
It is very plain. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, they showed this one picture here. I'm gonna see if there's another website.
I mean, I guess if your favorite color is red, then you're set here, But I mean, it just doesn't really strike me as like a Mario edition. I mean, I know there's like a little tiny Mario, but
yeah. So we got some additional photos here, courtesy of Nintendo of America's Twitter. So we have the red dock, we have the red Joy-Cons. You can see the console itself is red. You got a little Mario figure back there. And then we have some coins on the inside of the dock that you never see. I don't know. I mean, to like put this in perspective, let's look at the the Tears of the Kingdom Switch console. And I mean, this is what we got for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, you can see some effort was
just a very good looking system. The Joy-Cons were intricately designed. Even the system had some design to it. And the system box. I mean, even the system box of the Mario console is just a very generic Switch OLED box. It just seems odd. You have a brand new 2D platforming Mario game, and this is the best you could come up with. I remember when the Mario Odyssey Switch came out, that was also like a very bland looking Switch. And then I think they did another Mario themed Switch too. It was like, it had like red and blue incorporated with it. Mario Switch consoles. It's not that one. Here it is. So you had this one. This one looked like a more appropriate Mario system. It's still nothing.
It's got
really
the mix of the red and the blue, and I mean,
it's still nothing special. But I don't know. Very disappointing. I'm gonna get the game. The game looks great. I'm just a little surprised that they chose their September Direct. I mean, I know it showed off today, but it is essentially their September Direct to show off just 15 minutes of Mario Wonder, and then they end on a very bland Mario Switch. But the game itself looks great. I'm going to get it. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. And then that brings us to our last topic. This happened this week, courtesy of Sony. PlayStation Plus is getting price increases. So PlayStation Plus Essential, which is like your base tier, is going up to $80 a year. Extra is $135, and Premium is now $160 a year. Premium used to be $120 a year. That's going up $40. That is insane to me. And I don't know if this article covers it. I'm not going to read through it in its entirety. But Sony did announce, too, that they will no longer be reporting the amount of PlayStation Plus users, or subscribers, rather.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I know you have your opinions on subscriptions, and I
do.
I agree. I agree with your opinions. I mean, for me, the only one that was really, it used to be I had the PlayStation Plus games and the Xbox Live Gold because you played online, but you also got a couple of games a month for free. And for a while, you were getting some good quality games at no extra charge. So it's kind of like an elaborate rental system, right? So
I suppose so, but I mean, it for me, it was always a ripoff. I begrudgingly was a subscriber of PlayStation Plus because you had to. I used to play, Battlefield, especially online, like Battlefield 4, stuff like that. You had to have PlayStation Plus for any kind of online. So I mean, it was you were the gun was against your head. You had to get it, and yeah, I mean, occasionally you might get a game or two on Plus that you like or you would want to try out, but a quote unquote free game, even though you're subscription, so it's not really free. But yeah, no, it was always just a begrudging thing, and I mean, Sony was, to their credit, I think Sony was really smart when they introduced, the paid online. They did it like right at the height of their, kind of their goodwill. They did, if you remember, they did it right at the start of the PlayStation 4 generation. Right when everyone was so happy, like, Xbox One looks horrible, anything but that, and they didn't even care.
We were happy to pay. We were happy to pay for online.
yeah. It was like, oh, this looks awful. What they're trying to sell us, we'll take anything at this point. And that's when they slid it in under the door there. And yeah, it's just, and I'm sure the price is just going to keep going up and up and up for this. And this is not the end of it. Eventually it'll be like $100 just for the basic tier for this. But people will pay it, and.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're right. People will pay it. I certainly won't. So in the past, what I would do, I never paid full price for Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus. I always bought the cards on Black Friday because it used to be in the past, you could get like a year's worth of Xbox Live for half off. So it's like, oh, instead of $60, I'm getting a year's worth for $30. That's a no-brainer. To me, that's easy money to recover in terms of usage. But they haven't had like big Black Friday sales on the subscription cards for about 2 years now. So I think like those big subscription sales on like your holiday sales, I think they've caught wind of it. They've caught wind of people like me and are like, nope, we're not doing that anymore.
I saw a bunch of people on X going like, oh yeah, no, and this doesn't affect me. I have my subscription until 2035.
I saw that same tweet. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be very upset in 2032 when this impacts me. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean that's all well and good. For me, it's just it just further reinforces my best decision I made a couple years ago is I completely washed my hands of consoles. To me they're they're a novelty. I use them just as as sort of like retro systems here and there. They're not my primary gaming system anymore. I strictly game on PC, and this just further cements why that was a great decision. I don't have to waste money every year just to play the games I already own. And and occasionally they throw you a bone with a PlayStation Plus game that you might possibly enjoy. The only argument I can really see something like this, like subscribing to this service, or for like Xbox, is if you're completely new to game and you're starting fresh and you want to experience a whole bunch of games at once. It's not a bad way to do that for a time. But to pay this every single year, keep paying this tax every single year just to play your games that you already own, it just seems it's just asinine to me. And I'm like I said, I'm very happy with my decision that I got away from. And it sounds like you're kind of washing your hands, at least of the subscription side of it for now.
Yeah, I mean, the console side of it, that's something that I can't foresee myself washing my hands of anytime soon. Full disclosure, I work from home. I know you work from home as well too, but like for me personally, I spend anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a day at my computer desk. Okay? When I'm done with my workday, the last thing I want to do is continue to spend time at my computer desk, even if it is for personal pleasure. So that's why, like, for me, consoles I'm still okay with, because like it's a way that I can separate like work from personal life. So I don't mind playing on my consoles. In terms of subscriptions, though, I can't tell you. For PlayStation Plus,
I'll say this before anybody comments too. I have explained to him that you can have a PC hooked up to a television set as well too. So,
well, I've heard though that it doesn't, in terms of graphical fidelity and performance, it doesn't translate well to televisions with PCs. But maybe that's something we can talk about off air, because I've heard like mixed things about that. Like trying to play.
No, it's not the case in my experience, but
okay. Well, maybe I'll have to do that. But then I miss out on owning something physical. We're going to get into a whole other tangent. Let's try to...
We're teasing another video here.
We should do that. That can be our next Reacticast episode, or one of the next episodes.
Out of our system, right?
Like debates, console versus PC. I think that would be a good episode. We'll do that. We'll come with our sources cited and our peer-reviewed studies.
We're both master debaters.
But anyway, with regards to subscriptions, PlayStation, I think the last time I played a video game online with PlayStation was when I played Destiny 2 with you. And you bought that.
That was like years ago.
On PlayStation 4. Right?
Yeah, that was years ago.
That's the last time I played a game online with PlayStation. I mean, I use game, like I'm playing Demon Souls right now, so that does have like its online mode. So I guess in a way I'm using it because you can. That's how you read like the tips or messages from other players. So I mean,
was that really the last time you played online?
Yeah, that's the last time I played online on a PlayStation console. I haven't played a game online with PS5 at all. That's strictly... No, I'm lying. I did play Elden Ring online with a buddy. He asked for my help with a couple of bosses. So I went into his world.
You should have been like, no, I can't do that.
So, okay. So I lied a little bit, a.k.a. forgot. But even still, that was... I haven't played Elden Ring for about a year now when I finished the main story. So it goes to show how little I played online. And I can't tell you the last time I played any of the games that I downloaded from PlayStation Plus. Like the 2 free games you get or the 3 free games you get. I can't tell you when I've ever played any of those games. Usually, a game that I play will be a game that I purchase. And the same thing goes for Xbox. With Ultimate Game Pass, the last game I played on Game Pass was Scorn. Full disclosure, hated it. The last game I played on Game Pass before that was Halo Infinite. Hated it. And so, it's like, well, at this point, I'm okay with letting the subscriptions expire. I don't pay like the monthly fee. Again, I bought like, I think for my PlayStation, I bought like 4 years worth of PlayStation Plus for like half off. And that expires in April of 2024. Game Pass expires in December of this year. And I'm just okay with washing my hands of those ones. Nintendo, they are $50 a year right now as it stands. I think I'll keep them around because I have been playing the emulator games. It's nice for me to like especially in handheld mode. Before bed, I'll play a game of like Pokemon trading card game or do a couple of levels of Super Mario World. Like those are games I'd actually play regularly.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, I think this is getting back to the Sony price increases. I didn't realize this article has the original prices. So Essentials going up $20, Extra is going up $35, and Premium's going up $40. And I gotta tell you, like, if that's what they're doing, um, they gotta be giving more then. I mean, you're talking like you gotta be giving PlayStation exclusives day one access then at that point. Like, if I'm paying $160 a year, I better be able to play Spider-Man 2 on day one or God of War Ragnarok on day one. That's the only way that I could even consider going to a store to think about maybe buying possibly your subscription. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, it's getting kind of silly. Like I said, I mean, at this rate, for $100 just for the basic tier soon. I mean, what it tells me is that those annual Steam concurrent users where they always say that the up dramatically, that's just going to keep on going because I mean, this is going to push people away. I mean, it really is. I mean, it really all three of the big three have these really obnoxious online services that really offer nothing. I understand that they're fantastic for the corporation. I mean, this is great for Sony, this is great for Microsoft, this is great for Nintendo. It's just you don't really get much of anything as the consumer. So I mean, it's great for the company, terrible for the consumer. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And yeah, I feel like
my
this is going to drive people away.
My rationale for Game Pass in the past has been, okay, Game Pass is about a 3-month card of Game Pass is $35. Okay, so a year would be $140 for Game Pass, and that's if you're paying full price and not doing the monthly renewal. So my rationale was this: if I got 2 games a year on Game Pass that I wanted to play, then it would be worth it to me, because then Halo Infinite's a great example. I'm happy I had Game Pass when Halo Infinite came out, because if I spent $60 of my hard-earned money on Halo Infinite and put that in the player and that's what I got out of it, I would have been pissed. Because it's not worth $60 then. It's certainly not worth $60 now. Fight me on that, community. I don't care. Infinite was trash. So it's like, okay, I got the game for free. I understand it's not really free, but it was an elaborate rental system. But now it's just to the point where it's like I don't really partake in anything from those services anymore. The only game I play online nowadays is Warzone for Call of Duty. You don't need Xbox Live to play Warzone. So I literally, there's no incentive for me to have Xbox Live anymore. I don't play games online on PlayStation. Nintendo's the only one which is like, I'll pay my $50 a year. I'll give my pound of flesh to have the emulators on my Switch. They're fun. They're all games that I care about that's on the emulators right now. There's a wide variety of them by now, and there's rumors of GameCube coming to the Switch, which would be even cooler. So it's like $50 a year is kind of like my limit. Like that's where it's like, all right, for me personally, that's my value. That's like $4 a month or something. Like, I'm not gonna miss that money. But you want me to pay $160 a year for nothing? Sorry, Sony, not gonna get it from me. April comes around, you lost a customer. That's the way it is.
Yeah, no, I think you're making the right decision. I mean, I do. I think this drive people out en masse. No, but it's a lot of little things can build up over time to push people away from a product, or a brand. You know what I mean? It's not always just, I mean, sometimes you do have that, like that Xbox One moment where they completely just shit the bed and it's almost like they were trying to push customers away with how awful that that infamous 2013 presentation was. So you're gonna have moments like that can really push people away. But for others, like for me, like what got me away from PlayStation, after being a loyal customer for how many years, is it's stuff like this. It's adding paid online, seeing what else I'm missing out on other platforms, and it's little things like this that add up into an argument of, hey, why am I still consuming this? And as they tick this up over and little by little, it's just one more reason to say, hey, why am I doing this? I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're somebody that gets a lot of the plus games and you're like, oh well, I actually do play the plus games, and I mean, maybe that's an argument for you, but for me, it's just like, it just seems like such a waste. I'd rather have that 80, 100, $140, whatever it is per year, and just go and buy my own games. That buys me a whole bunch of, go on a Steam sale or a Humble Bundle. I mean, you can buy a whole bunch of stuff for that. It just seems like such a waste to me.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Oh, and the PlayStation Portal remote players went up for pre-order today.
You got yours reserved, right?
And due to high demand, there's a limit of 1 remote player per order. I don't know who they're trying to fool here. What high demand? Looks like it's still available to pre-order. But cool. I don't know. Sony's just, it's weird because I was reading an article that at this point in the PS5's lifespan, so they're about 3 years in, they are 5% above sales compared to the PS4 during the same time frame. So, like, the PS5 is selling well. I just don't, because I think they're at like 30 million units or 40 million units right now.
Yeah, it is remarkably, it is selling very well. And
so it's just Jim Ryan is just, I don't know what he is doing. Are you intentionally making these boneheaded decisions? You're releasing antiquated technology that nobody asked for or nobody wants. You're increasing.
I guess, is it really boneheaded though? I mean, because I mean, think about it. I mean, people are buying the system in droves now, more so than the PlayStation 4, which had really no real competition. I mean, it had competition maybe more from the mobile sector to some degree, but I mean, Nintendo was basically absent that generation, and Xbox had a very much an uphill climb to get back to any kind of relevancy. And I mean, they're still selling better than that generation, with Switch selling very well and Xbox doing better. So I mean, they're still selling really, really well. Why wouldn't you jack up the prices? Why wouldn't you try to sell some cheap tablet with a controller duct taped onto it? It's well, I guess maybe he's a genius. Maybe he's making all the right moves. It's like, hey, if I put a PlayStation logo on this, people will buy it. So maybe he's the genius here. I don't know. I mean, me, I think eventually people will wise up. It might take time, but eventually people will wise up, and they'll wake up one day like I did and say, why am I wasting my money on this stuff? What, I eventually that's what it got to. From ask myself, like, why am I still on this system when there's better alternatives? And I had no argument. I'm like, I can't defend my own position anymore. I'm like, I'm literally just on here for inertia's sake. I'm just here because of that's what I played before, and it's just like, why am I stuck here? I can make a switch for something, for something better.
I'm not ready to make that switch, but we'll save
there.
We'll save that for our console versus PC debate. I think that'll be a good episode. That'll be pretty entertaining. But yeah, I guess that's what we're gonna end it off on now. Is just the odd. I guess the way you explain it, it makes sense. I mean, you're selling well, so why not just throw anything you can at the wall and see what sticks? But I am not getting the PSP remote player for the PlayStation 5. I don't need it. And nor will I be continuing.
That's the worst part about this thing is it's
got the PSP. I know,
to the legacy of the PSP, which was a great little system.
It really was. It really was a solid.
I still have my white Darth Vader. PSP, which I cherish.
I've got my big boss PSP from Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. I still have that. So, I mean, there were a lot of solid games on that. But yeah, you're right. It is a mockery of that legacy. I don't appreciate it. I am, as the kids say, triggered about that. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and end the Reacticast on that somber note. Sony, it'll be interesting to see how the remote player sells. It'll be interesting to see if there's any backlash regarding the subscription price increase. Maybe there will be, maybe there won't be. We got some exciting stuff coming up though. Starfield is coming out. Spectre and I will both be playing that in some capacity, and I have the Game Pass version. I guess here we go. I have a reason to use my Game Pass one last time, so I'll check that out.
So you're stuck on 30 FPS too. You poor soul.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, hey.
You get to play Diet Starfield.
Look, man, I'm not gonna try to argue that and why that's a good thing. I'm not. You got me there. You win that battle. But Starfield's not a game I care about either. But we still got some exciting stuff. You got Armored Core you're enjoying, and then we got Lies of P coming out. We got a Strong Fall coming out. So a lot of stuff coming up. But we'll have that in future episodes. We'll have that in future unboxings. This baby Rorschach, fresh out of the bath. But we'll, I guess, yeah, we're going to end it there. If you haven't already, like, comment, and hit that notification bell on the channel so you can be made aware of whenever we upload new videos, whether it's one of our Reacticast episodes or one of our unboxings or reviews of... Lately we've been doing video game vinyls. We got a plethora of content in the pipeline. A lot of loot grabs that we put out there as well. So a lot of cool stuff.
We're kind of a variety show. Yeah, we have a little bit of everything. I think that's what maybe that's what appeals to you. You might not like everything we do. You might not care at all about vinyls. Maybe you're into the collecting stuff or vice versa. So yeah, I like to think that we're positioning ourselves, so at least so far, as more of a variety show. So there's something for everybody.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I am Rorschach with Reactionists.
And I'm Spectre.
And you guys have a wonderful day.